Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another short little Thursday thriller review. And today I'm going to be talking about a book that felt like both a 5 stars and a 1 star at the same time. But before we get started, my name is Sophia. I make bookish videos, mainly videos about mystery thriller books, but a little bit of everything. And as you guessed it, of course, I'm going to be talking about Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. So getting into the specs of this one, this came out in 2025, so a new release. It comes in at 392 pages. It was published by Bantam Books, and it is by Holly Jackson, who's written 7 other novels, which I have not read any of. They are all YA, and this is her adult debut. So what is this one about? So I've never read a book about a main character trying to solve their own murder, but that is really the hook of this one. So it is about Jet. She is a 27-year-old law school dropout. She has come back to live with her parents in a kind of New England town. I'm forgetting where it is actually. Woodstock, Vermont. And she is kind of in a little bit of a rut. It is around Halloween time. She goes to this little fall festival, fall fun house type of situation. And she comes back, walks into the door of her parents' house, and it is there where someone tries to kill her. She wakes up in a hospital and she is confronted with a terrifying reality. She has a aneurysm in her brain, and she can do one of two things. She can go have an operation right now and likely die on the table, or she can forego the operation and have probably about 7 days to live until she will most likely pass away. And so she decides to not do the operation, to give herself 7 days to solve who tried to kill her. So she teams up with her childhood best friend, Billy, and she tries to investigate who tried to kill her, from family, friends to people in their small town. Who was it that didn't want her there anymore? So what are my thoughts about this one? As I alluded to in the beginning of this video, it is a book that I am immensely conflicted about. There were parts that I loved of this and parts that I absolutely hated. So let's start with what worked for me and what I enjoyed. So first off, I enjoyed the pacing. I thought this was relatively well paced. I think there were little clues peppered throughout. I think there were enough suspects that were believable that you kind of were interested where this was going to go. I don't think it was too fast paced at the end. I think we got like a decent run up, a decent conclusion. So I think the pacing was solid. I also really enjoyed the Halloween atmosphere. This obviously takes place around Halloween, so there's lots of descriptions of like pumpkins on people's doorsteps and fall and all of those things, and it just was really lovely to read a book at this time of the year that is set in the spooky season. So I loved that. I also liked the theme in here of kind of like seeing something out till its end. Jet has always struggled with that, especially recently with law school. She decided that it wasn't for her anymore and she decided to drop out. But when she's given the opportunity to solve her own murder, she is so convinced that she has to do whatever it will take to figure out what happened. And so she is truly like suffering as she goes through this, but kind of overcoming something that has been a challenge for her throughout her whole life. And I thought that that was done really well in here. It was kind of like an interesting way to explore that. I think the writing was, for the most part, pretty solid. There was a good mix of like descriptive scenes and then really fast-paced action scenes. I did listen to part of this on audio, and I can definitely vouch for the audio experience. I thought it was solid. And my absolute favorite thing about this book was the end of it. Not to give anything away, but I just thought it was so well done. There were some tears in my eyes at the end, which doesn't happen in a lot of thrillers, but for great reasons. Like I really enjoyed how this concluded. It felt well wrapped up. It felt well written. So that was kind of like the 5-star part of it for me, the part that I really wanted to give it a high rating, because any book that gives me an emotional reaction and that I love part of, I generally rate pretty highly. But now getting on to the things that didn't work for me so much. The first being Jet reads so young. She does not read like a 27-year-old. She reads like a 16-year-old, 15-year-old. And I couldn't quite like put my finger on it, but I think like some of the things that make her read really young are like her constant, very like immature humor, like jokes about death repeatedly, the same joke in a very like immature and concrete way. the way that she like addresses people and addresses situations is just not like a way that a 27-year-old would think through things. And it also felt kind of convenient, like she's living with her parents. Truly, the only thing that would be able to like make me know that this character is that age is that it says it in the book. Everything else feels like a copy paste from like a YA teenage story. And if you like YA thrillers, you might like that. But like in a adult thriller, it just takes you out of the story completely when you can't believe the main character. My other big issue with it, and this is a little bit picky because I'm in the medical field, but the whole medical setup of this was just so beyond ridiculous that I like could not suspend my disbelief to believe that this is how this would happen. This patient, she would never be discharged from the hospital. Why was this not dealt with like endovascularly? Like, why did she have to go through a surgery? It is 2025. This is written in modern day. Yeah, modern day. There are things that could have been done for this. There's something that they could have tried to not have her mortality be 100% from this injury. It is just not how it would play out. Nobody would discharge this patient without having like immense malpractice suits. So I just had to suspend my disbelief on that one. It's just a little silly. I feel like that part should have been a little bit more researched or thought about, being that it's like the main hook of the book. But another nitpicky, irritating thing that didn't quite work for me. So yes or no, did I like this one? I think in general, I did. I would read another book by this author. I think given that this is her adult debut and she is so used to reading YA, I kind of understand the issues I had with it. I understand why the main character read so young. And I think if she continues to write adult books, hopefully that does not become an issue in her later books or continue being an issue. It will likely be something that I think she'll be able to kind of change in her brain and like write characters that feel older. And I think the prose of this book generally made me intrigued enough that I would recommend it and I would pick up more by the author. But this book itself didn't quite work for me. So I did end up only giving this one a 3 stars. If you liked this, what should you read next? I think you should read the Truly Devious series because the Truly Devious series is a YA mystery series and it honestly felt very similar to this. It is about I'm forgetting what her name is, but it's about a young girl who goes to a boarding school and she solves like mysteries there. She is obsessed with Sherlock Holmes and crime literature. And it's just about her being an amateur sleuth. And it really, really felt similar to reading this book. So again, kind of comparison that is not in the same genre or not supposed to be the same genre. But if you enjoyed this, check out Truly Devious. So yeah, this one was a little bit middle of the road for me, but I would love to know what you thought about it. So let's keep the conversation going in the comments down below. And with that, I will see you guys very soon with another video. Bye.